Okay, how's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are all having a good day, and we're back out here in the garage, and I thank you for watching. And I think today we're gonna probably work on some tubing. I was going to the other day and I didn't get around to it. Sandblasting took me longer than I expected. But we're going to probably start on removing the front of the Baja bug, getting the beam off, leveling the chassis all up, so we can start trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the front end here. I know I'm going with an A-arm suspension. I mentioned before, I made my own spindles up. I went off of a guy by the name of Mike. He has a YouTube channel called Doug Bug, and I'll show you. I copied his design, but I'm gonna have to modify it a little bit, I think, for what I need it for. But the general design is his, and I really like it. So we're gonna see how well it works on mine and how many changes I have to make to it. But I'll kind of show you what I did. I kind of did exactly what he did. If you go to his videos, he'll show you, how to do it and everything. But basically, don't mind my garage, it's a complete mess. But basically, you can make up a, he has like some drawings or some files on his in his descriptions where you can go and download the these templates. And I basically just downloaded them. I couldn't download them to give me the right sizes and stuff, because he has it set up for if you have like BenTech, or if you have like AutoCAD, or if you have something like that. But he does have a bitmap drawing in there also that has a scale on it. So basically what I did was I used that scale, printed it off, and then I just converted that scale to the drawing that I printed. So it wouldn't print off for me for some reason at the proper scale, like 1:1. So I had to just go off of the scale that was on the drawing, and then I scaled up the drawing to be 1:1 scale, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I converted that all to construction paper first, drew it out, cut it out, and then I took it and put it on this. This is just like that foam board stuff that you can get from like your Walmart or probably Meijer or whatever craft store, and basically cut out all the pieces, and then I just used hot glue gun, glued it together. That way you actually have a three-dimensional item that you can go off of and hold in your hand and take a look at it. And I'll actually be able to put it like up on my bug, to try and get like measurements and stuff, because I have these are made to be basically used for like a Toyota 4Runner front wheel bearings, because they are they're sealed. So the front wheel bearings on that are sealed, and they don't so basically they're like a one unit. They use 4 bolts, bolt into this piece, and then that's it. The rotor goes on there, and there's no splines in the center of it like you have with a with a 4-wheel drive truck that has a bearing assembly like that. It has the splines on the inside. Well, these ones don't have any splines. It's just smooth, and it's made for a 2-wheel drive. So, and they're a lot cheaper than if you go with like a something for a Volkswagen. If you go with like a spindle, if you go with the spindles or the hubs and stuff like Jmar, or some of those brands, they're a little more expensive. Plus, you can pick these up, like something was to go wrong, you can pick these up, at any one of your auto parts stores or whatever. You can be able to grab a bearing if you need one. So that makes it real handy, not have to wait, on shipping and stuff like that. But Anyway, so this is how I did it, and then I'll show you more. I had to order some parts still. I'm waiting on, there's uniballs that go right here. It's like a bearing that pivots both directions. It's kind of like a Heim joint, but a little different. But I had to order those, so those are, I'm gonna have to wait another week or so before I get those, so I can actually put those on here and look at them. But yeah, I'll show you. Like if you look, like here's one of my Heim joints for like my gonna be for my steering, but it has there's misalignment bushings that go in here on each end, and it slides perfectly inside of here, like the way this is designed. And if you cut it out right and it's all to scale, it slides in here perfectly, just like it would if this was all made out of metal. So basically you can kind of see like the point to it. You kind of, you know, I mean, you have a three-dimensional item that you can, you know, look at, and with them misalignment bushings in there, you can see what actually is going to be happening, you know, in real life, basically. Not just trying to foresee it in your head. You can actually put it up on there and get you some measurements and stuff. So I'm going to be using this to make my A-arms, to get the measurements and stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing, working on today. And so yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. So alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to jack up the chassis, level it. I just got some jack stands if I have to shim them or whatever to get the pan and stuff level. That way we can go ahead and start taking this beam and stuff off. So that's what we're going to be getting into. Be a little bit bigger gun. These rotors already have some kind of like an adapter on them to go from the standard 4 lug to a 5 with like an inch spacer. So we're not gonna be needing probably any of that. Set these tires right over here, right in my way. Of course, they're not in my way right now, but they will be in my way in about 2 seconds probably. That's usually how it goes. Of course, it's not a 19. Or an 18. Winner. Like a spacer and an adapter plate. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and take the brakes off because I am going to be using the brakes. Off. We'll keep those. We'll put those back on. Maybe not. May have to make my own tab, but we're gonna keep those. Washers for spacers. Backside. Well, at least calipers are brand new. Brake pads are brand new. That's good, I guess. Have the washers on the correct side, with the bolt. The other ones have the washers on the inside. That's odd. Oh well. So, put these over in the keep pile. Which is a shelf over here. Along with the bolts for the calipers that I'll be putting in a baggie and labeling them. I'm just going to stick those probably back in the rotors. Take these nuts off right here on your tie rods. If they're tapered, you gotta smack them out. You wanna put your nut, leave your nut on, and just bring it to the very tip of the edge of the stud. That way when you smack it, you don't mess up any of your threads. And you want your nut on far enough to where you don't mess up your nut either. Yeah, she tight. Okay. Okay, wanna play? We can play. Wanna play with me? We'll go to slow with this one. Start to go. There we go. Well, that was in there for a minute. Make sure you have your face clear of that. Otherwise, you'll be missing some teeth. Your counterpart was a pain. I might as well just not even fool with you. Go straight to the the shaft, where the nuts are, rusted out. Might as well just take it off the might as well leave the steering box on the beam, so guess all that'll come off with it. Well, I guess I could have left the damn tie rod ends on, I guess. Duh, that was kind of stupid. Yeah, that was dumb. Guess I'm not used to working with something where the whole front end comes off with one unit, I guess. My bad. My bad. We'll just put these back on finger. Just put the nuts back on, just hold them together. We'll take it off. One unit. That's probably why those things were seized on there so dang tight. Because it's probably never been off. They always took the beam off as a whole thing and put it back on as a whole thing. Never bothered to clean and grease any of the bolts, nothing. I mean, why would we want to do that, right? Well, guess we'll pull this off and see how heavy it is. Looks heavy. We'll put this up there just in case. Just in case it's super heavy. I don't know. Let me measure the wheelbase first. I think it's 100 inches maybe. So in order to get wheelbase, you go from the center of your rear wheel to the center of your front wheel. Now me, I'm out here by myself, so I'm gonna have to measure the trailing arm, which is 5 1/4. So the center of 5 1/4 is 2 5/8. So take this length, wheels look fairly straight. This is 101.5 minus, actually 101 5/8. So minus 5/8 minus 2 5/8 would give us what, 99? 99-inch wheelbase. Probably 100-inch wheelbase, because the rear trailing arms are not at right height. They're at full. They're basically at full compression, or almost full compression, because there's no shocks or nothing back there. So we'll say it's 100. I think that's what they are, 100. I'll double check that number, of course, but I think they're 100. Because we're going to add about 2 inches to it whenever I build the front end of this thing. Alright, well, let's see here. See if this thing tries to fall off. too bad. I mean, I wouldn't want it smashing my hand, but. I'll let you guys check this out. So, kind of want to level up your frame or whatever, your chassis, whatever you're building off of. Whenever you start putting all kinds of pipes and stuff on, it makes it easier because then you just put a level across the pipes. Like if I put 2 bars here and I put a level across there, then I know that it's level to the frame or the chassis. So you want to make sure you get it pretty close. Like, I mean, it's pretty close. So kind of want to fool with it until you can, you know, you got to put shims or something under your jack stands, or if you have like scissor jacks or whatever where you can adjust them real slow, those work pretty good. But that's good enough for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these studs back in here. Get the persuader. Move the persuader out of here. Keep pile. These things basically for the wheels to the little plates. I guess I'll keep them just in case I need them, but I'm not going to be using those. So I'm going to be using different rotors and bearings for the front, so I won't be needing those spacers because the bearings I'm putting on there are going to be off of a Toyota 4Runner, which are 6 lug. So alright, so now we just got to figure out where I'm going to cut this off at, for one. I don't know if I want to leave a little bit sticking out and put a plate on it and use that for like additional bracing, which would probably be a good idea. I would kind of brace the tunnel better to the pipes that I put up here. So it's kind of one of those moments where once you cut it, there's not really no going back from there. So kind of want to decide where you want to cut it. Make sure you are positive that's where you want to cut it. I think I'm going to cut it right along where this seam is, up and over, all the way across. Maybe I'll keep the front. I'll keep the front of this whole unit and that front beam, so that way maybe in the future I can build me an entire dune buggy or something. Use the front beam and this portion, make me a dune buggy frame. Never know. Never know. Lots of possibilities. I know one thing, I'm gonna have to get my other extension cord out here. I'll just keep swapping the extension. from this to my saw. Alright, let's do it. Supervisor, go to your office. Go. Go. What are you doing? Hey, you're not chasing the sparks. Are you? I mean, I know supervisors are a little slow, but out here on the floor, you don't chase the hot sparks. You wanna go outside? Come on. Come on, man. Oh yeah, look at all that mouse nest. Holy mackerel. Wow. That's generations of mice right there. That's like mice. That's like a lot of mice. Figure this thing's a 68. I don't know how long it was sitting, but let's see if we can't dig some of that out of there. You know, with that much in there, it would have been hard to It'd been hard to take that it'd been hard to take that shift rod out the front of that if you had to change it. Kind of hold down bracket. Feel it for the see if you can't pull the clutch lever, clutch cable through here. I mean, I'm not going to be using this clutch cable, but you never know. Might use it on the dune buggy. The future dune buggy, we may use it. Fuel line runs all the way back here. Still debating about cutting the tunnel down. Throttle cable. Alright, so the plan, we got this cut off now, chopped right off. I'm going to take these lines out of here. I'm going to take this out of the tunnel. There's a couple other lines back here in the back. Those metal lines, I'm going to take those out because I'm not using those for anything. But, so now my decision is, where do I want to come off of this lower arm here to extend my front? Because basically, this is going to be you know, coming off of here, this bottom bar, going to be extending out to make up the front part of the chassis. So now I got to figure out how wide do I want it to come from center out. I think I'm going to try and make both the lower and the upper A-arm mounts probably straight up and down from each other. So basically my front end is going to be like a box, kind of like how side-by-sides and stuff are. I know some people put double, you know, they put two bars like this straight from the middle, and then the upper ones they make a little wider. So I may go that route too. I may not go quite as drastic as some people I've seen, but I may go like from like right here on the bottom and then come out to like right here at the top. So kind of like put a bar in here for a brace, kind of like that. And then I can run my top bar off of here, my bottom bar off of down there, and it'd be kind of tied together. So if I'm going to do that though, I need to figure out where I want to do that, because I'm going to have to either A, notch this out to be able to fit that bar in around that other tube and notch the bottom so I can weld it, or drill a hole and run the tube through it. But then it's going to be harder to weld. So that's where I'm kind of stuck right now. But the front end is off though. So there's the pile of parts. Yeah, that looks like a future dune buggy. Yeah, probably. All right, so got that done. Yeah, so I got to figure out what I want to do with the bottom. How far I want to make them. Because the distance between the bottom frame where you mount your A-arms and your top mount should really be the same distance that you have between both of your mounting points, like on this piece right here. So there's going to be a uniball right here and one right here. So basically from the center of that to the center of that, whatever that height is, that's the height that you want to carry your A-arms to mount. So if this is like, I think mine measures like 10 1/4, 10 1/2 between here and here, roughly. I'm still waiting on both of those uniballs to come in order to get an exact number, but I think it's around 10 1/4, 10 1/2. So basically what that means is from this bottom mount for the chassis to the top mount, I'm going to put the A-arms on the bottom, and this top one where I mount the A-arms needs to be that same distance. So these two bars need to be that same distance apart. That way both your upper and your lower A-arms are running parallel with each other all the way to the spindle. So then when the spindle moves up and down throughout its travel, you don't get any camber changes on your tire. So your tire will go straight up, straight down. It won't rock in or rock out as it travels through its range of motion. So of course you can do the same thing if you wanted to go like, if you want to do like narrower on the bottom and wider on the top. You still have to try and maintain the distance, but then what you would do is you would just basically figure from your bottom bar to your top bar, if the difference this direction is say 3 inches, each way, then your upper A-arm needs to be 3 inches shorter than your lower A-arm. That way both your A-arms are the same length, if that makes any sense. So the only difference is your upper A-arm is going to be a little bit shorter anyway, because if you look at this, where this mounts, kind of hard to see, but where this mounts, the upper, here, let me get a good back, the upper right here, this part, is going to be closer than the bottom is. So you need to figure out what the distance is between these two spots, and your upper A-arm is going to have to be that much shorter already. So I know that sounds kind of twisted and like kind of confusing, but basically whenever your A-arm, your spindle has that top mounting point is inward from the lower point, then you have to measure, you have to figure out, put a straight edge on this, figure out what that distance is, say it's 1.5 inches or 2 inches. Well, then your upper A-arm needs to be that much shorter than your lower A-arm. That way they're the same length. Same thing when it goes to when you move this upper and lower bar. So if your outer part of your A-arm, of your top A-arm, has to be 2 inches shorter for the spindle, and then you kick your top mount out further, then you also have to take in consideration what that is. So if you come out 3 inches from center here, and you come out, and then you need 2 inches from your spindle this way, your upper A-arm is going to have to be 5 inches shorter than your lower one. So basically, when your top A-arm and your lower A-arm is straight off the chassis like this, you want both of those to be parallel, and you want your spindle to be sitting straight up and down. Then throughout the whole travel of the suspension, you won't get any of this caster, camber change of your tires. So I know it sounds complicated, and even when I say it, it sounds complicated, but just take, if you do, you could like play with it a little bit, like take a couple like pencils or something, same length, and then like have them at the same distance mounting point, and then put you like a fake spindle over here, like another piece of pencil, and then rotate both those arms up and keep them parallel, and you'll see what happens with the outside, you know, the outside piece, to basically mimic what your spindle is going to be doing. But all right, so I know that was long-winded and probably tiresome to listen to, but that's just stuff that goes on in my head, stuff I think about all the time. So yeah, so that's what we're doing today, and that's what we got done, and we'll catch you later.